It's time to do our sample seam. The first thing that we want to do is remove the pins to take the pattern off. Okay, and just put that aside. And what you should see now is the right side of both pieces of fabric. Remember, we marked the wrong side with tape. So to put this together, we want to put right sides together, meaning that our tape, both pieces of tape should be on the outside. And we want to line up one of the long straight edges so that the fabric is stacked right on top of each other. And we're going to put a pin at each end. Make sure that the pins are perpendicular to this edge and that the head of the pin is on the outside. Put one in the other side as well. So it should look like this when it's ready to go. Let me get our machine ready here just a second. Okay, I have already threaded my machine, but I want to make sure that it is going to stitch okay. So I have my scrap, and I am going to check to make sure that my stitching is all right. Needle up, press your foot up, pull off to the left. Always do those three things when you get to the end of a line of stitching. And I want you to stitch this with the speed number 1. We're doing a 5/8 of an inch sample seam, and you should have a piece of blue tape on your sewing machine already that marks it at 5/8 of an inch. If you don't have one, let me know, and I will come around and take care of that for you. We want to slide this in so we're about 1/2 of an inch in from the end and put our presser foot down. Okay, so this should be lined up right here. Now I'm going to drop my needle down. And we never want to sew over pins, so we want to make sure that we take them out as we get to them. I'm going to hold on to my threads when I get started. I'm not pulling real tight, I'm just holding them in my hand, and I'm only going to do a couple of stitches forward, and then I'm going to let go. Now, I need to back stitch all the way to the edge, so hold the back stitch button. It looks like a U-turn. Go all the way to the end, and then come forward. This is where I am watching. I am watching this edge of the fabric touch that piece of blue tape. And if I have done this correctly, then you should be able to get this right at a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'm watching right there. Keep your fingers back out of the way and go nice and slow. Remember, you are not allowed to use anything past the speed number 1 until after you have finished your pocket. And then you can't go past 2. However, I want you to use the speed that's going to work best for you. So I took my pin out because I want to make sure that I am keeping my stitching really accurate, and I don't want to stitch over a pin, because if I stitch over a pin, I'm going to end up breaking my needle. Nice and slow, keeping my eye right here. You want those two things to touch as you go. And I know this is slow, but you're getting used to the sewing machine. Almost none of you have sewn before, and so this is a good practice for you to get ready to do your sample seams. Alright, let's keep going nice and slow. We're going to stitch to the end, and then we're going to back stitch about 3 or 4 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to stitch off the end. Needle up, press your foot up, pull off to the left, and I want you to make sure that you clip those threads nice and close. I don't want any long loose threads on these. So there is your straight stitching, and it should be right at the 5/8 of an inch.